So right, we will bow in together. Right. Right.
Onegaishimasu.
If you can't hear me, it might be the wind or something. So shout up if you lose my audio. Oh, hello. There we go. There we go. Okay, seems like okay. We'll just find shoulder width apart with the legs and with the hands, and just jump in and down. If it's cold where you are, which it probably is, just make it a bit more dynamic. Leave the ground a little bit, and focus on kind of lightness in the upper body, especially the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists. Let them be free, open. So that kind of gentle weight of the jaw. Gently drag the shoulders down, a little bit of traction. The jaw. So let both feet to leave the ground at the same time, and enter the ground at the same time. And we just work with a little bit of tension and releasing. So do this freely your own time. Just play. We'll start with the core of the body. Just start with the kind of abs. This whole area. Just think about tensing it a couple of seconds, and just releasing it a couple of seconds. Just kind of go in and out for kind of pulse, hold in tension, release in tension. Hold it a bit longer if you like. Hold it. Release it. Just try and focus on just the kind of front of the abdomen. Let everything else stay loose. You might want to bring the breath into it. So if you want to go into holding tension, you're probably going to want to breathe in, hold it. But you can experiment with different breaths. Releasing tension generally is going to be a kind of breath out, but just explore a little bit. There's really no kind of rules, solid rules with breath work. So know what feels right for you. And we'll just slowly work down towards the ground. So we'll start with the butt basically, and just squeeze them together. A little bit as you're doing it, try and release the abdomen pressure, tension. And again, just a couple of seconds, squeeze and release it. Release it. And again, just play with different holds. A couple of seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, however long you feel. Okay. Just counter it with that release as well. And just take it down to the thigh, that whole upper leg. Slight tension in it. Don't feel the case, especially with the legs, you're kind of tensing the whole muscle that's kind of wrapping around the thigh. So the thigh bone, surrounding it. Just play with tensing, releasing. And then we'll just play with the lower foot. Bring the foot into it as well. So the shin bone, the ankle, the foot. Just tense that whole area. Do it. Keep that slight pop or jump or bounce. However you're doing it. Just kind of again release. Play with the releasing, holding. Tension. See if you can also tension the toes as well. Good. Tension the arch of the foot. You might feel the knee also get kind of tense as you do it. Just work with it a little bit. You might feel the calf muscle. The joint. Just work with it. And then just play with tensing this whole area, so the abdomen, the butt muscles, the thighs, the lower leg, the feet. Okay, we're ready. Okay, go. Good. Just play with tension that whole area and releasing it. The whole lower body. 4. Tension release. Tension release. Just settle the feet down, release all that tension out. And we'll work with the jaw above the head. A little bit. Work with above the head here now, and work with a bowing of the body. So you're bowing backwards, forwards. Get into the motion. You'll feel naturally the upper body starts to kind of pull into tension. So here, play with just tension in the whole arm, shoulder, through the movement. So this is kind of tensioning rather than adding tension, in which case you're using the movement itself to roll the structure forwards, release it, and then pull the structure back. And just feel what's happening in the body, especially as you take the position to its fullest. Notice which area of the body, especially in terms of the front and the back lines of the body, which area is kind of tensioning as you do it. So you probably feel, maybe not, but you might, if you tension towards the back, probably feel the front line of the body really light up. If you tension towards the front, you probably feel the back lines of the body kind of light up as well. Yeah, just play with kind of slightly holding it, pulling yourself back to center, and then coming back the other way. That's right. So shift the camera up a little bit. Just a touch. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll just take that a little bit further. Be careful with the back bend, especially if we've not really warmed up and it's a little bit cold. Don't go too far with the back part, but tension all the way up. A little bit of a back bend, and then roll the body all the way down. All the way to the toes if you can, and then roll the body up. If you feel like the pressure or the tension is a lot, especially in the hamstrings and the lower back, release the knees to find that kind of movement down. So we're mainly focused on the upper body here. So don't worry if you need to, or you feel like that you want the lower body to release out. If you can play with tensioning it as well, it's going to kind of add to the overall tension of the upper body. Just play rolling down, all the way down, and all the way up, rolling through the spine. Going the back, all the back. And in this case, we'll use a breath pattern for it. You're going to breathe in as you come up and bow back. Gentle hold at the top, and then breathing out as you come down. And as you roll the spine up, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And as you do it, just find your own rhythm with it and allow the breath to follow that pattern. So if you do it more dynamically, obviously the breath needs to be more dynamic. If you do it more slow, let the breath follow that as well. So work in an area you feel uncomfortable, maybe a little bit uncomfortable, that's okay. Good. Okay, and we'll just do one to open the shoulders a little bit more. You're going to take the hands on the jaw as wide as possible. You're going to take 1 foot forward with this. So you start with the feet together. As you do it, you just step 1 foot forward. Let the back foot, the heel's going to leave the ground, and then you're going to roll the jaw up. Keep it until you're going to come all the way back as far as you can. Up, down towards the back of the spine, into tail up, and then you release it forward, bring the feet back together. And then you just alternate the side. You step forward, breathe in, up, over, open the shoulders up in front of the chest, and then release it, breath out, bring the feet back down. And just unite the kind of movement of the jaw, movement of the breath, movement of the feet, movement of the arms, all one thing together. Just alternate the leg just in your own time. Nice deep breath in, opening the chest up. Back. Just use the jaw base as a feedback on the ability of the shoulder to open and close. And you want to have them basically working even, opening and closing. Just give that a try. That's it. Again, just in your own time. Nice. Good. Just notice again the foot going in front, the balance shift in the body. Just try and ground the body into the floor, using the feet, the legs, the center of the body. And you're going to look up towards the sky or the ceiling in this one. Kind of classic Qigong exercise. Looking towards the sky. The spine. The even number. Good. And then when you're done on that side, just take yourself back to the center. Just a little bit, release that tension in the body. Just notice when you feel it, just in the arms. You might feel it in the legs a little bit as well. Sit out. And we'll do the next one. The next one, you're going to take the jaw to the back of the body. You can choose what feels kind of comfortable with the hands. What I prefer to have is the thumbs out, pointing that way, but you can also do this with the thumbs in. It depends on your flexibility in the shoulder also. So experiment as you're going with this. What I want you to do is just take a little bit of a wider posture with the feet. So round about just wider than the hips. And you're just going to take the arms so that you feel you can press down, and the shoulder, this whole arm becomes straight line from the shoulder to the wrist. You don't want them too tight together. You don't want them too tight together. So think gentle pressure down. Go. And then you're going to, in this case, you're going to hinge from the hip. You're going to hinge from the hip, and you're going to bring the jaw up over the back of the head, all the way down, look towards the ground, or looking between the legs to the back. And then you're going to bring the body up. So this is hip hinge motion. If again you feel the lower body, especially the hamstrings, kind of too tight, feel free to release the knees a little bit as you do it. So it's not about stretching, it's just about opening these lines up in the body. So we'll do this again with the breath. You're going to breathe in, stretch, pull back the spine a little bit, lengthen up to the top, and then hinge from the hip. Bring the hands over the head. Gently hold the breath as you come to pull. Pull, and then release the breath. Pull yourself back out. And just allow the hips to hinge and lead the movement in this one. So just in your own time. You know the shoulders are a little bit tense. You might want to change the hand position. You might want to make them a little bit wider, a little bit narrow. We'll also stretch the shoulder a little bit more. Just get into kind of rhythm of it, let the breath follow it. Just allow the breath to settle with the settling of the movement as well. You've got two kind of settling points at the top and at the full hinge. Just allow yourself to briefly settle the body, settle the breath, and then use the breath to lead you out or into. Okay, perfect. And again, just when you finish that, take your time with it. Come back to the center. Loosen up the shoulders again. Roll them out a little bit. And then the next one we're going to go through is a rotation work. So you're going to take the jaw just over the back of the neck and just rest the arms on it. These would tend to be done with a longer stick, actually, a much longer stick. So we're a bit limited with the jaw, but allow yourself to just let the arms settle onto the jaw. Try and feel that it's light on the body. It's not kind of crushing down into the shoulder and the neck. So just lightly, a little bit like a scarecrow. Take the feet about shoulder width apart, and we're just going to practice rotation. The first, you just keep the stick kind of horizontal, so the arms stay horizontal to the ground, or parallel to the ground, or wait, perpendicular to the ground. Parallel, parallel. So you're just going to rotate, look over the shoulder, roll back, look to the other side. And just let the breath lead the movement as well a little bit. So you will probably want to, with this one, breathe in as you come into rotation. Briefly hold at the back, and then pull yourself back to the center. You can obviously do this really dynamically. You can kind of do 1, 2, 1, 2, but give your body a little bit of time to settle in between. So find the center line, settle in again, and then lead with the breath again. Breathing in, breathing out, settle. Breathing in. Allow the movement to go right to the end of the fingertips as you do it. Again, just do it in your own time. Lead with the breath a little bit. Good. And that's just working horizontally if you can. The next few, you're going to allow yourself to release the foot, so that the foot that you're rotating away from, allow that heel to kind of come out of the ground, and allow yourself now, with the body, to find a gentle spiral. The top hand, the furthest hand away, that's in front of you, is going to spiral up to the top, and the back hand is going to spiral down a little bit. And what you're looking for is just to gently coil the body up into a spiral. So using the hip, using the hand, using the foot, just allow yourself to gently coil the spine up and follow the same breath pattern. Again, settle the breath each time, settle the body down in the center, settle in the stretch or the other. Again, just allow that spiral to pass all the way to the fingertips, especially when it's cold. You need to kind of activate everything in the whole body, especially. Good. That's it. So just having a gentle spiral, as much as you feel comfortable with, kind of coiling the body up. That's it. Great. Use obviously the leg that's in the ground really is your anchor for this movement. The other side of the body is opening. One side of the body is really going to anchor and fix the body down into the ground. That's it. Nice. If you feel any tension in the neck, in the shoulders, just allow yourself a bit of time to release them out, but take it gently. And think about spreading all the way to the fingertips. If you want, you can also play with really opening the hands out, extending the fingertips out. So you feel again that tensioning down the shoulder, all the way through the arm, into the fingertips. Great. That's it. Very nice. Good. Right. Last one's a really dynamic one. So this involves a kind of spiraling, circling movement. There's a kind of easy way to do it, and there's a hard way. So we'll look at the easy way, and then if we can, we'll progress to the hard way. So be a little bit wider with the legs in this case, a little bit like a double hip width posture. Okay, the first one, we're just going to roll up with the body. This one is doing a circle, so you're just going to work one way. You're going to roll the body down, and you're going to hinge all the way through. Roll up, just up to the top. So you're just basically passing a circle through it. This is the kind of easy one. Just kind of open the hips a little bit, open the shoulder. Keep that workload with spiraling. And again, if you feel a little bit of tension, or too much tension, too much pressure in the knee, especially if you've got injuries in the knee or anything like that, allow the legs to also release them both. If you can also do this with a straight leg. It feels kind of comfortable. You kind of fully extend the legs. Just be careful, obviously, in this case, you're doing a kind of hinge and a rotation. Just be careful of the lower back as you do it. So don't cause any stress on the lower back in this case, not too much stress. Causing injury with it. So take this carefully, just work in one way. And again, just work with the breath. In this case, you'll probably feel as you come up, you want to breathe in. And as you go down, you want to be releasing the breath through the let the movement pass all the way to the hands, to the feet, the top of the head. Let all the body be involved in that kind of spiraling, circling movement. That's nice. You want to get a feel for this, the center of the body, in this case, really the hip, is really motivating that movement. Yeah, nice. Great. Very nice. And then just gently as you come through the rotation, find the top again. And then if you can remember which way you went, go the other way. So you're going to go that way. If you happen to go the same way, go. This is breathing. That's only the you'll be doing both sides. So there's much more dynamic movement. Try and find the stillness in the movement in this case. So you don't really have a settling portion of the technique, or the movement in this case, not a clear one. So try and find it, especially at the top of the movement. Think of this a little bit like a roller coaster. You come to the top of it, and then you get swung down now. That's the top of it. You get swung down now. And let the breath kind of follow that movement. There's different qualities of movement you can use with this, obviously. Great. Okay. Good. Okay, just the legs have to come down again. So the top, just release the shoulders out. We'll do the slightly more difficult version if you can. If you find this difficult, just go back to the one we've just done. But you're basically going to breathe in the top. You're going to release that spiral down the same way, and then you're going to let the 𝘱 go around the back here. So the 𝘱 is going to pass. Yeah, and around the back. Really open the shoulders out. So you're really opening the shoulders. Yeah, really so. Shoulders release and then release. It's a really nice one too. Open the shoulder. If you find the shoulders get stuck, then just go back to that first one. Just allow the 𝘱 to pass at the top and just spiral down. Yeah, these would tend to do with a slightly longer stick, so you would have more of an opening with the arm. But nice one again, just to open up hip, shoulders, just that nice dynamic move. That's it. Very nice. Good. Great. Perfect. And then again, just to change direction with it when you get to the top, just allows it to roll the other way. Direction. And go the same way. Change it. Same way. Notice the breath as you do it. Notice whether you're actually breathing. Is the first question. Am I breathing? Next question is it actually following the movement? Is my movement also following the breath? That's also the same thing, but just a couple more. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, great. Just again, come down to the top, just release out the shoulders. And we'll just do one last one, just for the lower body, really. So this one, you want the feet to be together, and you want to do this, if you can, if possible, do it on the toes all the time, okay? So it's a nice, easy one. You're actually going to have the hands quite close together on the 𝘱. You're going to breathe in, come up to the top, stretch up onto the top of the toes, and then you're going to go down as far as you can comfortably into a squat position. 𝘱 comes out to the front of the body, and then come up to the top. Yeah, and you can do two things. You can go straight back into the squat from here, or you can settle the body back down, find the heel, and just repeat it that way. So two ways you can do it. Breathe in, stretch up onto the toes, come down, come up, stretch right up to the top, and then just continue at squatting. And go. If you want to kind of rest in between, or you want to kind of still point, just come back down, bring the heels down, rest the 𝘱, and start it again. Both have the kind of benefit. The first one's a little bit more stressor in a way. You're keeping the tension through the feet, the legs, but either one's fine. You do it. And just take the squat down as far as you can comfortably. Yeah, this is a nice, difficult one actually. Looks really simple, looks easy. This is sitting in the rice paddy, I think this one's called. It's good for you, Serena. You will like this one. You're a natural. Total natural. You got it.
What did you call it? Sitting in the...
I think this one's called sitting in the rice paddy, or sitting in the rice. Yeah.
Okay.
The idea with this one is to bring the, obviously full squat, you're bringing the back of the legs together. So that would be a full squat position, and assisted by the heel off the ground. You could potentially do this into a full squat with the heels down. And the idea with this one is if you can keep the legs together, so that another way to do, let's see. Well, I'll make this a little bit more challenging, although this is quite challenging anyway. A little bit more challenging is find the feet together so that the toes are together, and you want the heels to be a little bit separated, a little bit of space between the heels. I can take my 𝘱. Do do the same thing, but feel that the legs wrap together, wrap towards each other. And as you come down, come into the squat, your mobility will be less, but this is going to really activate the lower body. So come up to the top, stretch up onto the toes, and then come down and squat. The legs as you go down are going to wrap increasingly towards each other, towards the center, and then find that position. So keep the knees and the thighs basically together. And again, you can come in and out of it. Just play with slightly rolling the hip joints into each other. And the idea of that is to close the body and basically anchor the body down and really force the legs to anchor the body into the ground. Just give that a try. And just note that you'll probably have a little bit less mobility in terms of sitting in to it. Just notice that, and that's it. And as you do this, notice that the spine, it wants to start to flex down into the squat. Allow it to just hold straight. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be vertical, it just means that it needs to be lengthened. So if you think, we were talking yesterday about the solar plexus and all that area, think in terms of solar plexus in this. I don't want the solar plexus to start to come down towards the ground, towards the knees. I want it basically to be up, out, and basically point to the solar plexus should be lined up with the jaw basically. So it doesn't mean that the spine necessarily needs to be vertical. It would be good if you can keep the spine vertical. That would be a real feat to do. So, but it's more about the length. And you're really taking the leg through its full range of motion. But just speak out, especially if you've got a knee injury or anything, don't stress the knee too much. Just take it as far as you feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, perfect. Very nice. Great. Good. And just gently come out of that, and we'll just loosen up. Loosen the legs out a little bit, shake them out. Okie dokie. You just loosen out the arms a little bit, just like kind of pumping the jaw comes up to the shoulder and then releases down. You can play with the legs as well if you want, just to release them out a little bit more. Just take this into a gentle throwing motion from the hip. If you feel the hips a bit stuck, a bit fixed, just let the jaw settle on the hip here, on the core of the body, right? Somewhere near the belly button, and just play with the hip, basically able to roll that connection to the jaw. Check in with the rest of the body. Shoulders, the knees, neck. Reverse that motion, legs up and roll back. Releasing the shoulders, hips, knees, feet, ankles. So let the head, the eyes fall onto the horizon line, just in front somewhere. Last one we'll do is a kind of centering exercise. It's a bit of a strange one, but okay. You're going to take the jaw here, you're going to grip strong as you can with it. Little fingers first, obviously, as we do the Aikido grip. Fix the feet into the ground, and then you're just going to whip the core of the body. So just the hips, and you're going to do this. And you basically want to open the hip out, and then just rock it a little bit. And use the tension in the hands, tensioning in the hands. To just give you a fixed point in the movement. So that's going to fix you towards the core. There. And you just want a kind of gentle whipping motion. Yeah, really good to activate the core, warm it up a little bit. Give that advice. Bit of a strange exercise, but a really good one actually. Nice. And you just want a bit of a kind of judder, and then release it, and then release it. That's it. Yeah, good. Perfect. That's it. And then we'll just play a little bit with the hands here. So pulsing in and out of the hands as you do that movement. So as you release the hip, also allow the hands to release, and they both release together. And then as you pulse it, squeeze them together, squeeze them together, squeeze them together. And you're looking for that feeling. Feel it. Feel that the extent that you can let that feeling or that pulse pass to both ends of the 𝘵𝘁. So you feel a little bit of vibration at either end of the 𝘵𝘁. And it should feel also equal. So notice if one hand dominates as I do this, the right, the left becomes empty. Right becomes empty. So allow both to become full. It's a little bit like I want to snap the stick. So if you do this really vigorously and you have a weak 𝘵𝘁, it's got a splinter in it or a crack in it, you will break the 𝘵𝘁 if you do this correctly. So basically snap the 𝘵𝘁 if it's got a defect in the center of it. That's good. Right. Good. Very nice. Just a couple more. Great. Yeah. Good. And you can't do this one while you're laughing, unfortunately. It doesn't work. Would be great. Great. Perfect. Okay. We're going to look a little bit at the 31 kata. So Jenny, you'll totally remember all of it. So don't worry. We'll work through it progressively. We'll just start the very first movement. So in this case starts the left foot together, left foot forward. 𝘵𝘁 just resting in front of the left foot. Let's see if I can go right up there. There, we go there. Left foot forward. You're just going to make one movement of this. You're going to take the 𝘵𝘁 at the top, come in and find the speed, and then just pull yourself back. So we just go into it here. One, and back. Feel all parts of the movement are important for coming into the speed and pulling back into kamai. The main part of this, apart from moving the whole body together, is this idea, which is really related, of going from stillness, calm, to movement and back into stillness in a kind of really energetic way with the speed, and then coming back into that calm, neutral posture. Bit of try, just the very first movement, which is a kaishiski, so a reverse grip for us.
Michael, are you going offline a little bit, or are you just going straight?
Yeah, actually, good point. We are, in this case, doing the 31 kata, we're working the line, or we're working the crosshair in this case. So if I was to do this in terms of 𝗧𝗪𝗓, I would go straight forward. In terms of the 31, I'm going to go off to the left a little bit. So if I do it that way, I'm just going to wedge the body just off to the left side that way. So my 𝘵𝘁, the tip of the 𝘵𝘁 is on the center line, but the body's basically wedged off it that way to the left side. So going to the front left. If you think of yourself on a cross now, going now to the front left, the body's basically wedged off. So really simple move. If any questions come up, just let me know. But just keep going with it. Pointers. Let's see. Nice. Great. Okay, great. So look, one technical point. If you think of the exercise we just did, the sense of releasing and then snapping the hands together. It's a technical point, but it's really also a feeling. Really, all good technical points are really about feeling. So think about this really neutral here. The back hand is relaxed, so it's not in a kind of gripping phase of the movement. Really release the back arm. The front arm's also released as well on the 𝘵𝘁, so you've got a kind of loose grip. As you go into the motion, you come through. As you find this position, really fix the hands onto the 𝘵𝘁. So you're allowing the grip to fully seal onto the 𝘵𝘁. And that grip is all the weapon work we do. It's basically the back of the grip collecting onto the 𝘵𝘁. So allow yourself when you do this, especially the backhand, really fully seals and make really a contrast between that fixing point of the hand and this point here where you're nice and relaxed. If you think in terms of taijutsu, if you think about Taina Henko, anytime we're starting this position, that kind of opening release and coming through and fixing the extension into the hand or making it full. It's that same kind of feeling. Come into it. Relax. Check the back arm. Check the back shoulder. Check the hands not going into grasping already, and you've got a better chance to go whole body together. Down into the ski. Good. And you're looking for that feeling again of the center basically activating, pulsing into the hands, pulsing through the end of the 𝘵𝘁. It's really it's a case of training the physical to train the energetic in this case. Nice. Yeah, great. Very nice. Very nice. Okay, so all the work of kata work is basically being able to sustain that kind of training throughout the whole set. So, and noticing when I kind of drift out and basically pulling myself back into that feeling, or stopping the form and restarting it. So we're going to 3 moves now, really, again, quite a simple movement in this case. You're going to thrust with that first movement. You're going to come back and you're going to protect the top of the head with the 𝘵𝘁. So you're in that position, you roll the arms up to the top, and this is a protecting block, spiraling up to the top of the head. And then you bring the 𝘵𝘁 back into a ski, third position, and then coming back into the line. So we go here 1, 2 to the top of the head, and then 3. And then we just pull ourselves back to that 0 position. You've got here ich, ni, sa. Back to 0. Ich, ni, sa. 0. Okay, give it a try. It's 3 movements, 4 technically with yourself, with pulling yourself back into kamae. Yes, good, good. If any questions come up, just let me know. Let's see. Okay, nice. Okay, great. So it's always useful to kind of pull back into function as well. So the first thing we'll do is just look at the line work. So talk about this with the first movement. The first move is coming off to the left side of the line. Yeah. Now the response, this is a block, is basically that the thrust is coming back onto the body. Imagine you've got a thrust coming to the chest. What I'm going to do to evade that and get underneath it is I'm going to take the back foot off to the right side, and I'm going to roll the 𝘵𝘁 underneath it this way. So my connection point in terms of block work is around about in this position of the 𝘵𝘁. So that position on the 𝘵𝘁, and I'm going to use that to protect the body, and I'm basically spiraling underneath it this way. And spiraling underneath it also means the whole body is basically spiraling and opening underneath it. So it's not just a movement of the arm, basically. And if you think about this as a functional movement, if I go over the back of the head, then I open this part of the body up. So what I'm trying to do in this case is protect that part of the body with the end of the 𝘵𝘁. It's going to rise up and it's going to collect underneath it. So I bring the arms into a kind of spiral position. Do it. So again, if you look at tensioning and working with spirals, this is a classic example in our system where the arms are basically rolling up into a spiral. The key part of that is that the shoulder is able to roll down. Shoulder rolls down, elbow heavy down, and then the wrist is able to mobilize into that kind of position. And at the same time, the body is sinking underneath, sinking underneath. So it's a tricky position. In terms of principle work, the clearest phrase to look at this is basically the arms go up and you go down, right? This is the clearest kind of idea. It's a very simple way to look at it. As the arms go up, the center in your body basically sink down to the ground. And then you want to keep that pressure as you go in to the ski and pull out of it.
Michael, I have to go. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank
See
you
you
very much.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Michael, I've got a question.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, you Santini. You know, when we're doing the ski, because the hand, the front hand is actually on top of the 𝘵𝘁.
Yeah.
When you snap the 𝘵𝘁, is it still the the little finger and the ring finger?
Yeah. So yeah, good question actually.
Because it feels a little bit, yeah.
There's different interpretations of this. Like you should have the whole hand sealed on the weapon, and you should be in that kind of position. What I tend to feel with that is if I do that, even if I do it well, the shoulder still wants to roll forward a little bit, right? So it's a tricky position for the grip to kind of do, because if I fully seal that and I try and get at that, it's a really awkward position for me. So if you think of the logic of that, the logic is basically that the back part of the grip is the power, right? So that's normally the case. If you go really simply into the Bokken work, the back part of the grip is the power. That means that the back end of the grip, how it's connecting to the weapon, is the power. So it means that I'm not using the front fingers. Now with Bokken work, that's always going to be the rear fingers. It's always going to be the back of the grip, because apart from a couple of examples actually, when we do this kind of work with the Bokken, it's very rare that we're leaving this kind of grip with the Bokken. With the 𝘗, that's not the case, because we need to basically mobilize the hands. So in this case, if you go to the ski work, the back of the grip is the back of the power is basically in that part of the hand. The back of the power, if I reverse the hand, is actually in that part of the hand. Right? But it's not just the case that the front fingers become the grip of it. It's that I need the contact in the palm that way. So I need the pressure to be through the 𝘗 that way. If I'm doing that and I separate that too much, it's basically a very weak connection. Right? And if I go too far with it and I try and seal that grip and I focus on the little finger, this shoulder starts to pop forward. So it's basically a balancing act between power and flexibility. The key part of it is to really feel comfortable. And the core of all of that grip work is 𝘏𝑰 work. So what I'm looking for is not really in the grip, it's actually in the structure of the arm and how it relates down the weapon. So actually the grip is actually not important. It's really important and it's not important at the same time, right? So what's really important is the structure of the body behind the weapon. And I can do that without the grip and I can do it with the grip. So it's basically a feeling of 𝘏𝑰 extension down the arm and how the wrist and the hands and the fingers, if you are using them, relate down the tip of the weapon.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That's
it does.
the answer to it. There's a simple answer to it, but the simple answer is not really interesting.
What's a simple answer?
Well, the simple answer is that the back grip is the two fingers here, but it's not quite the full story. But so the simple answer is that I want palm contact and I want the grip to be in the power to be in the back of the grip. Now with a reverse grip, that means that the front two fingers actually. That's going to kind of seal, that's what's going to seal the connection into the 𝘗. And if I do with that, it's going to release the contact then.
Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm going bright orange. Bright orange. Okay, how are we doing? Let's see. Yeah. Okay, great. Nice. Very nice. Great. So we'll go a little bit more complex. So we'll just take it to number 5 with this case. So this is going into striking work. So a couple of points with this. You're going to go into 1, back 2, back 3. We come to a similar position, but I'm going to bring the hands together over the top of the head. So I find the center of the 𝘗 and I bring the hands just above the top of the head. And then what I'm going to do is release the hip, find the left hand on the back of the 𝘗, and we're going to step through the right foot and strike down. And I change the grip in this case because I'm working with a strike down. I'm going to change the grip to the same grip I would use with the Bokken. So this is one of the interesting parts with the 𝘗. So it's a very versatile weapon. So we use it like a spear in this case. Back, coming back, bringing the hands together, and then releasing, finding the end of the weapon, and then striking down with it. And you can think of this as striking like a blunt object, or you can think of it like a slashing motion. The end of it would be a spear. Traditionally, would be a spear. This category really comes from spear work. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, if you have any problems, you have any questions, just let me know. Check. Pointers. Nice. Great. Okay, good. I give you one point, which is it's a technical thing, but it's a training thing. So watch this. I do the kata, so I do it like this, really. Go, and then this part I go like, and then I come back, and then I come back on. So really control. I'm really also quite bad at this. So I get to the end, and then I go like, oh, I'm done, and then I finish. Allow yourself when you find that number 5 to get 5. Give yourself, or give your body chance, give your mind chance to really come back in and stay in. If you want to be distracted after, you can do the distraction bit after that, but allow yourself to pull back. So see, this really is a 6 count movement. It's really like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Realize how to pull back from it. And if you need to kind of pull back from it, pull back from after that. Got an itch, scratch your head. You can do it then. But allow yourself to kind of stay in it, stay in the kata. Again, it's part of the training, the kind of beginning and the end of it's really, really part of the kata. And the 31 kata is the same. It's actually 32 because you need to pull back to your 0.0. So it's never quite finished. That's so nice. Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Good. Great. So we'll take this a little bit further. We'll go now into this. We'll just start in the Kenkamai position. So this is going, we'll go from position 5. So we'll just work into that. Just a nice basic strike. This is a yokomen. So you're going to strike yokomen. This is going to be 5 in the kata. You're going to step on the left foot, another yokomen. And then you're going to rotate to the back. This is a 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘦. So you're going to rotate through and then strike through the center line. And then you're going to do another strike yokomen on the left. And then just allow yourself to pull back into Kamai. So we'll do like short set and then we'll bring it into the rest of the kata. So it goes like this. 5, 6 on the left, 7, 8, and then back. That goes here. 5, keep the kata count. 6, 7, 8. Back to the mic. 5, yokomen. 6 is yokomen. 7, 8. Yeah, give it a try. If you have any questions, let me know. So it's yokomen, yokomen, turn, 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘠𝑚𝑒n, yokomen. 4 cuts.
How are you wedging off the line?
Yeah, good question. So the yokomens are basically wedged all the time. So in the kata, this will be wedged onto the right side of the line. Now in 6, I'm going to go to the left side of the line, and then 7, I'm basically refinding the line, cutting down, and then 8, I'm coming up the line, wedging to the left. Back, finding the line.
Okay, so I didn't quite hear you. I don't. So the 7th, so the 5 is on the right, the 6 is on the left.
Yeah.
7
No,
is
wait.
fine.
Yeah, wait. So 5, I'll do the kata from it. So you've got
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is on the right side. 6, I go over to the left.
Yeah.
I rotate back and I basically find the center line. Just I'm technically I'm wedged off to the left there to the right side still. I go back onto the center line. So I come back into the line in this case. No.
Okay, I completely lost you when you were facing the other way with your voice. So
Let's see. 7, I'll do that right. 7, 6. I rotate and I'm back onto the center line.
okay.
But that 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝑚𝑒n goes right down, and then 8 goes up to the left again.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Set. Good. Set. Nice. Good. Nice, Jenny. Okay, great. So one point, this can be quite difficult, especially if you've not got the space, but allow yourself a bit of freedom with the 𝘥𝘠𝘢𝑚𝑝𝗜𝗠 especially. The 𝘱𝘁𝑒𝑚𝑛's a little bit, it's another story. But in this case, so the 6 and the 8, in this case, let the tip of the weapon roll around the back. So if you want, you can also play with this where it's when I change and I go into 𝘥𝘠𝑚𝑝𝗜𝗠 work, I let the tip basically roll through the back. Roll through the back. So the movement in this case, in terms of function, is basically the Joe's protecting the body as I go through. It protects the body as I go off the line. So if you think about someone attacking you down the center line, I'm basically using the Joe to protect the body, and then I'm going to come back onto the body with that movement. And this is one movement. So the benefit of this practice is that as I go up, even if they strike the Joe, I use it. I feed off it to allow me into the strike. So it's one movement. And rather than it being a straight up and down, it's basically a much more of a circular motion, and the circular motion will protect me, and it will, the second part of that is, will allow me to find the strike a lot faster. So 𝘥𝘠𝘢𝑚𝑝𝗜𝗠 is more of a practical attack, much more functional in terms of being able to interact with someone and be able to attack fast, basically, later. And if you watch any video of a sensei, he never does anything slow, basically. So he's a fast guy. He's a fast, powerful guy. So everything he did was fast and powerful. That's perfect. Yeah, and then the counter is 7. Just go down the center line. So 7 is a 𝘱𝑗𝑚𝑛𝑢chi. And then I put down the center line. And then the release on 8 is again a 𝘥𝘠𝑚𝑛𝑢chi. So it's not always the case that 𝘥𝘠𝘢𝑚𝑝𝗜𝗠 is going to be a round movement. In some cases, I'm going to find a short 𝘥𝘠𝘠𝑚𝑝𝗠𝗠, but in the case when I'm stepping off the line forwards, it's going to be a rounded motion of the weapon. Great. Okay, good. 2 minutes. Great. So we'll just piece all that together. So work with the kata. Again, use the kind of 0 point. So it's 8 count. Pull yourself back into this position. So look a little bit like this. Goes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
To go.
Oh, Jenny, sorry.
I said, thank you, Michael. I need to go.
Okay, great. We will, let's see what time we are. Okay, cool. We'll bow up together. Okay, great. We'll bow up, guys. So let's bow up together. So we'll continue tomorrow. We'll look a bit more at the 31. So let's bow up. Okay, John, we'll bow up. We'll bow up. Very good. Great. Great. Domo arigato.
Domo arigato, master. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. It's just about to rain also, so I'm gonna go. Great. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna stop the thing.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, guys.
Bye.
I might see you tomorrow, Michael, and otherwise have a very good year end.
Have a good new year. See you soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.